Thank you for staying with us. This is the bold day of television. I'm Christina Marie, your host for Access Humboldt, and you have made it through our marathon. We are now here with Marty Coelho of College of the Redwoods Foundation. Hello, Marty. It's so nice to have you here.
I'm glad to be here, and I'm sure you're glad to get to the final interview.
Well, we saved the best for
Yes. Well, so people feel that way.
So tell me more about you and your foundation. What is the mission?
So the Sierra Foundation was formed in 1968, and it was formed as an independent 501c3 to support the Redwoods Community College District. So we really focus in two areas. Primarily is how can we support student success? So that's going to be through scholarships, internships, special projects that we can help fund, give them opportunities to try new things, and then to partner in the community and generally focus on economic development, community health.
Okay. So let's start with the scholarships. How does a student find more information about scholarships?
So we have a scholarships page on our website.
Okay.
And then our scholarship program coordinator goes out and educates our different campuses and encouraging students there to apply. It's an online application. They end up applying for 125 different scholarships.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Our foundation oversees the administration of nearly $600,000 worth of scholarships every year. So about 325,000 of that comes from our own invested funds. We give out about 400 scholarships there. And then we also administer $250,000 of scholarships from outside organizations through another 125, 150 gifts.
Wow.
So it's quite the process. There's a lot of opportunity for students to be supported. The overwhelming majority of our scholarships are not based on academics.
Oh,
So most people hear scholarship, they think, well, I have to have a 4.0 to get support. I would say that's 1% of our scholarships.
wow. That's amazing.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important for students and parents to know, and individuals who are attending. Um, I know how, as a parent, I know how it could be a little daunting applying for scholarships. Is it just the one application form and it goes to all of them?
It's one application form. It's asking basic questions. There's like 4 short essay questions. Gets matched up against all of the different scholarships. And then that's how we pull students, and then it goes out to volunteer committees for review and scoring. And then our philosophy is that we try to give as many scholarships to as many different students as possible. So in some systems, students could score out and you could have 5 students that walk away with all the money,
Oh,
right? And that's not the situation in our student body. We need to support as many as possible.
yeah. Yeah. Especially with the rising cost of college and the economy. And that's a
Absolutely.
great program. So you mentioned so many programs earlier. What's the next program we should discuss that you really want to get across to the community?
Well, we put in place several years ago innovation grants. So President Flamer asked us to really look into that and see what we could potentially support. And we put in grants to support staff and faculty, $5,000 grants, so they could take on new projects. And it could be new technology, it could be a new way of teaching in the classroom. Um, and so we've gotten some really amazing innovative grants out of those areas. So we just wrapped up a project that was between our art department and a Native community for Brian Tritt, who's a famous Native American artist. And so he has a sculpture on campus that we helped get refurbished. Our students were involved in that process, and then they moved it across campus. And it's just very heartwarming process to be part of and have a lasting impact on the community to save artwork like that.
Yeah.
And then we have our large kind of community slash staff, faculty, and student grants. So they're economic development grants, and essentially community members can partner with staff, faculty, and students on projects that are going to bring economic development to both our district and the community. But they need to be able to demonstrate an economic impact. And that's not always an easy thing for people to try to pencil out, justify.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, we have limited funds, and we want to make sure that we're supporting things that potentially can have a return for everyone.
Right. So, and then you have several campuses that are spread across the region.
Yes, so we're here in Eureka. We obviously have a downtown site. That's our workforce and community education center. We're up in Del Norte County and we're over in Humboldt.
Wow.
So
Okay.
we're spread out in a very large geographic area, probably one of the largest community college districts in Stick County.
Yeah. And you really cover a lot of ground. Yeah.
Yes.
So tell me what else you would like the community to know about the foundation.
So the foundation takes a fairly large role in supporting our athletics program.
Mhm.
So we're very proud of the program. I think the community is too. This semester, we should have about 260 students in that program, of which half are local. And honestly, probably a very high percentage of those students are students that I'm not sure they would have gone on to college. Where they would have ended up, who knows? I'm sure a lot of them would end up being successful.
Mhm.
But sports is what allows them to come here, have a social network, feel comfortable, develop their athletic skills, find out the college is very much different than high school. And it leads to pathways to four-year institutions or coming out with an AA.
Right.
And so it's a program that keeps expanding. We just added CR Rodeo, and that was something that our president was very passionate about. There's some people in the community are like rodeo, college. We have a very large rodeo population in Humboldt and Del Norte counties and over in Huba.
Yeah.
Huba has their own rodeo. And so we already have 14 students lined up for next semester. So for a sport to launch like that with 14 students is pretty significant. So it's something that we're proud of, but it brings a lot of positive energy to the district as a whole.
Yeah. And it's uniquely Humboldt, right? I mean,
Yes.
college with that program. I don't think I've ever heard of a rodeo program being in colleges before.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I mean, we've got 16 different sports, I believe, at this point. We keep adding additional ones. Rodeo definitely is the most expensive. Students basically come with their own horses, have their own trailers.
Wow.
They have some support networks in place. It's not a cheap sport.
Right.
But we're working with the Ferndale Fairgrounds to have our training center down there. Hopefully within a year, we can have a rodeo in Fortuna, a collegiate rodeo.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of fun. It's positive and it brings the community together.
Yeah.
And, having diversity of sports like we do brings a diversity of people to watch those sports and participate in the sports. And we've had great deal of success in conference championships, the bowl games, yet for such a small area up here.
Yeah.
But I think one of the benefits is, at least for our local kids, as they go through rec programs and playing in schools, they all know each other or have played against each other. And then they end up coming to CR and continuing that. And it gives them a leg up on some competition out there. So,
Yeah. It sounds like you're doing it small, but really well. Like it seems very student focused and locale focused. And I think that's the way to go. I think you're doing a great job of it.
I would agree with you. I think what would surprise people is we have a 70% graduation rate for our student athletes. Our graduation rate for student athletes is higher than the district as a whole.
Wow.
So, and I think the last time we did a calculated grade point average for all the athletes, it was like 3.24.
That's great.
So the focus is on getting them an education,
Right.
and that's really supported within the athletics program
Right.
and then the sports.
Right. And then, of course, you have a really strong relationship with Cal Poly Humboldt for them, like another place to go after
Exactly.
here.
Exactly. Yeah, that relationship, it was put in place between Keith Lammer and Tom Jackson. I taught up at HSU for almost 7 years, and we never had the relationship with CR at that point back in the 90s that we now do today. And that plays, pays dividends to all of us to have those two institutions working together closely and providing opportunity and making it easier for students to transfer from CR to Cal Poly. Cal Poly just dropped off like 250 sashes for students from CR that will be transferring up to Cal Poly.
Awesome.
That's huge. So, yeah, we've made a lot of progress.
That sounds really great. In just a couple of words, what brings you joy about your position at the foundation?
I think it's two things. It's one, supporting students. I mean, we have our scholarship reception every year. We're giving out scholarships that are $250 to say $1,000.
Mhm.
If people saw the reactions of some of our students just getting $250. It was great for people. And I don't think it's the money, it's just the fact that somebody recognized their hard work and was supporting them.
Yeah.
And so beyond supporting students and what you get from that, partnering out in the community, like I said, when we're tackling things like community health, we help support the masking campaign and the vaccine campaign during COVID.
Mhm.
We try to stay active out in the community, walked in Alzheimer's. We're trying to do things that are going to benefit a large segment of our community.
Well, we're really grateful for your partnership with us, and I'm so glad to have you on the Bold Day of TV today.
Thank you. It's a
And
great opportunity.
you are absolutely welcome. And thanks again to the audience at home for sticking with us. If you missed any part of the interviews today, we will be rerunning them all month leading up to the Bold Day of Giving. And more information is at accesshumboldt.net or bolddayofgiving.org. Thank you and good night.